Hey everyone, it's Kale from Scud Style, and today I'm going to bring another video on retention, sexual cultivation, Nofap, Nofap hard mode, which is no sex, no sexual release, retaining kind of your sexuality and transmuting it into something else. So today I'm going to go over 15 benefits, and these are like 15 categories that have kind of been broken down into multiple benefits per category, but I'm just going to jump right into it. It's day 90, which I know is a big number for certain groups in this on this journey, so I wanted to kind of go into it on this day. First benefit I noticed was more energy. There's a lot more energy in just about everything that I'm doing. I just feel physically I have a lot more energy, and I do a lot of energy work and things like that, and there's just more essence and subtle energy also at my disposal. It's kind of hard to explain, but I've definitely noticed an increase in that as well. Better immune system. I have not had as much as like a sniffle this whole time, and I've been doing this for a long time, but in this particular 90 days it's been the same. And what I've noticed in the past is as soon as I've ended kind of a retention cycle and have kind of indulged sexually, especially if I've indulged a lot and it's kind of rebounded in that way, immediately like cold symptoms come on, like scratchy throat and stuff like that. So it's happened multiple times on lots of different varied occasions. So my immune system feels great. I'm more resistant to and I interact with a lot of people and touch a lot of people throughout the day, just on the nature of what I kind of do day in and day out with martial arts and other things. So a lot of people get sick. I haven't gotten as much as a sniffle. Clearer skin. It's something I've also noticed over time. Skin is clearer with less effort. Even if I don't wash my face for multiple days, I'm camping or I'm doing something else. And even with that kind of buildup, I used to break out a lot more, even when I was more consciously trying to prevent that. And now it just comes. There's more of a glow to the skin too. There's more of a glow in the eyes as well. Kind of an added benefit there. But you can kind of tell. And I know when they talk about ojas in Eastern tradition, it's the same thing. They talk about the eyes, and they talk about the skin, and they talk about the glow. Anyway, moving on. Better, more resilient mood. When kind of like the dopamine levels out over time from not having these spikes, your mood becomes more stable, and more stable in a positive way in general. So when you do experience your highs and your lows, you tend to feel them more, but overall it's more of a steady appreciation and subtle like contentment with just your life and everything that's going on and just being. So that's a really nice benefit. Need less sleep. I have noticed that I wake up sooner. I wake up before my alarm. I need less sleep than I've needed, and it's not like all of a sudden I'm going on 4 hours a night or anything like that when I was doing 8 before. But I've noticed definitely, and this goes with increased energy levels, that I need less sleep to function at the same level, and my body naturally wakes up a little bit earlier because I've attained enough sleep to kind of re-rest. Again, I've also noticed on the rebound, if that has ever happened in the past, I would go to sleep and people talk about being relaxed after it, like sexuality, it's a relaxing event and you go right to sleep and it's relaxing. Well, it's also a huge drain of energy, and so your body is shutting down into sleep to recover from that very exhaustive process, both emotionally and physically. And so you drop into this thing, and I remember sleeping for like 14 hours straight after ending a retention cycle and kind of indulging sexually a lot. And I thought that was kind of a relaxing thing, but now I realized how I was just completely worn out and exhausted, and it's so nice kind of retaining this for long enough where you can realize that you don't need as much sleep because your energy levels are so much better, and you're not exhausting yourself as much, depleting yourself as much. More sensitive to beauty, people, music, art, etc. So life just kind of, you become more sensitive to kind of the subtleties of the beauty in things, in other people, in the opposite sex, even just people in general. to songs. I will hear music and it just goes through me and activates a lot of things that kind of felt dulled down before, when I wasn't practicing cultivation to this degree, to this extent. So you just notice a lot more beauty in a lot of things. Poetry, like a lyric could like floor me for like an hour sometimes if it's really beautiful. Anyway, more creative, which goes hand in hand with that. Poetry, expressive thoughts, expression of thoughts, etc. Those are a few of the outlets that I use for creativity. Song, certain martial arts practice. In Aikido, we do a lot of creative expression as well. I've just noticed my degree of creativity and what I have to draw from is just so much more expansive and deep and profound. And so I've really enjoyed that. Weight loss. And I know this will be a controversial one, but this has happened on multiple occasions. It's not like you can change no other habits. And actually, I haven't tried that, to be honest, because I'm always going hand in hand with the retention, and you want to eat better. You're treating your body so well and you feel better and all this stuff. And it just, first of all, leads into kind of a cycle of, okay, I want to treat myself better. I want to behave better. I want to treat my body better. I want to feel better. So you start making choices that align with that. But also, even if that weren't the case, I've noticed, because I've made that in the past when I wasn't cultivating like this, it's more effortless. Your body has all these resources that aren't being expelled over and over and over again physically. And so you build up these reserves, which really help, these nutritional and otherwise reserves. And it's a more efficient process utilizing the nutrients that come in because they don't have to go back to refill all those depleted stores. But I've definitely noticed drastic weight loss. If you look at some of my earlier videos, just even from a year ago, when I wasn't cultivating to this extent, you should see, I'm a little bit more defined, and I'm not going to take my shirt off or anything, but I've definitely lost a significant amount of weight. And it's not through me trying to lose weight or anything like that. It's just me in this process. It just coming to more of a natural weight for me, when before I was holding on to a little bit too much because my body was trying to replenish all those stores. Moving on, faster healing of cuts, wounds, regrown nails, etc. And likely hair too. My hair is as long as it's ever been, so it's hard for me to get a baseline for a controlled experiment in that regard for hair. But I have noticed that cuts, when I get a cut, it heals within 24 hours. It's been scabbed and it's gone. I lost 2 toenails recently from injuries and stuff, and they're growing back crazy fast. I mean, like, this one's almost fully grown back, and it's been like 2 months. I know people talk about like 6 months, or one friend talked about 18 months, and his nail's still not back, and it's my big toenail. So just things like that, which tie into the immune system, tie into the body's natural processes and regenerative power, which when you cultivate and you have this energy kind of being recirculated, it can really, as opposed to being expelled and having to be replaced with the food and the breath and the oxygen and all the stuff coming in, you're able to really cultivate that stuff, and the new raw materials coming in and the ones existing in the body right now are able to speed up that recovery process so much. Life doesn't seem as washed out. So this is an analogy that I kind of noticed. So I'm colorblind, and a couple years ago, I got my hands on a pair of colorblind sunglasses that would help with my particular type of colorblindness to see certain colors better. And what I can describe with that is that when I'm colorblind, and after I put those on, I could compare it. The colorblindness was kind of like what life being washed out, the color scheme just being washed out. I can still see colors, but only about 5% or so. And so when I saw the new, and I didn't make up all the other colors I couldn't see before, but I got to see some new ones, and it just seemed like everything was vivid. It popped. It was into focus, and it was just vivid, vibrant. And that's what it feels like now, as an analogy. It feels like I've put those glasses on, and everything, scenery, people, situations, everything just seems more vibrant and not as washed out as when kind of it's a little bit grayer and murkier when you're kind of depleting all the time. and trying to stay on top of that. More passion, drive, and desire to create and accomplish things. So this comes with the increased energy, but along with the increased energy becomes, I anyway have had this drive to, start a YouTube channel and start posting more content, take certain practices I have to a much higher level. I set out to achieve certain goals and I accomplish them, and I have this drive and this passion that doesn't burn me out. Like, it seems like so daunting, but I'm getting there and it's effortless. It's a little bit of work, but there's not all that kind of inherent resistance that has been there in the past. I want to get up and I want to do things. I don't just want to lie around. I don't just want to watch TV or eat or indulge in all these other activities that are kind of lazy. I still get to relax and do all those kinds of things, but once I do, it's so, and it's done after creating something great or accomplishing your goals and feeling good about yourself for doing so. More sexual polarity with women. I have noticed this to a great extent. I haven't done tests this time around, blood tests or anything like that, but anecdotally and just through my personal experience and studying this stuff, my testosterone is much higher than it is when I'm not cultivating. And I noticed that in all types of different forms and expressions. But one of the ones is sexual polarity with women. If I can be more in my masculine and higher testosterone and things like that, it allows them to be comfortable more in their feminine. I know in society, and I'd like to make another video about this at some point soon, but kind of the androgynous society we're kind of moving towards, where women are kind of being pushed to be more like men and men are trying to be pushed to be more like women, and we lose that really nice sexual polarity. And sometimes it's swapped and the men are really feminine and the women are really masculine, and that works great too because the polarity is still there. But when that polarity is kind of lost, it becomes kind of gray and the androgyny. And anyway, the polarity has been very strong during this cultivation of my own sexuality. Better tolerance to temperature extremes. I live in an area where the temperature changes a lot from week to week, and it also changes a lot just even throughout the day. And I've noticed that my tolerance to both very cold relative to everyone else I'm around and very hot, both, has improved markedly. And I'm able to be more comfortable in either end of the extreme, which comes from, I think, just having this vibrant energy. Easier to connect with people emotionally. I've noticed that conversations and interactions and little things, like whether I'm just seeing someone walk by on the street and it's a smile and a wave, or I'm having a deep conversation with someone I've known for a long time, or making new friends, I'm easier to connect with people emotionally, and there's more substance and depth and profundity to these interactions, which is a huge benefit, and it's really rewarding. And finally, I know there's a lot of people who get into this cultivation for none of those benefits, but they all just want to focus on, maybe their sexuality has been kind of messed up, or their sexual health, or things like that. And so I wanted to put at least one. That doesn't interest me as much, but I wanted to put one at least there for people looking for that, and my better sexual health. Pretty much in every way. I haven't obviously been actively having sex or anything like that, but I've stronger erections. The unwanted sexual urges